Oh, we got a PB pop. Bum 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 bum. Y'all, should I pee-pee fart myself? This is sort of cute and funny, you guys. The last time we were in art, it was September 1st, I think, or September 2nd. It was our one and only normie stream of September, and we were preparing, frantically preparing. Not really frantically, a little bit to be honest. This was before my first trip, and we were working out the Trevor Project stuff. Isn't it so cute? I actually haven't reconfigured my Stream Deck for post Trevor Project stream life. Let me scooch back too. I think we're at the wider view part of the stream. What words were coming out of my mouth just right now? Oh yeah, my Stream Deck. So it's all still wired up. Look at that. Ah, look at those. I can't wait for us to use these numbers again. By the way, we definitely will do more charity streams in the future. I'll just put that out there. 'Cause first of all, y'all are rock stars. Everybody in here showed the fuck out for that. I think maybe 2 or 3 a year. We'll see what makes sense. I would love to do charity streams more often, but I think you also have to be sensitive to, yeah, the fact that communities are of a certain size, and yeah, you don't want people to feel pressured too often or anything. Not that there is any pressure. There definitely is not any pressure from me, but you know how brains work. They get a little squirrely sometimes. Dirt. Okay, for art today, let's go ahead and just leave the Trevor Project stuff up there. We'll leave it, and we are going to look at some pictures. Let's get some math pictures open, so I can muse for a little bit about this project that took way too long. way too long. Oh my god, and we have so much art from y'all to look at. So, oh, we're already kind of doing it. We'll come back to this in a second. Very nice scrapper mouth. Where did I put these? Excuse me? Maybe I didn't put them. Erp. Oh, poo. Is that... Wait. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I just need to...
10,000 goon coins.
Tell us about it.
Or loses everything. The man had a plan. Buy Mesopotamian copper on the black market, flip it for a profit, then drive home in a VW Polo. But the copper was fake. The merchant was a cardboard cutout. The VW Polo was just a JPEG. He lost everything in 48 hours and tried to sue the goon chain emotionally. But the gorilla, calm, calculated, built a shrimp.
Tried to sue the goon chain emotionally.
Predicting the weather. By year 1, the gorilla had 14 farms, 6 patents, and a shrimp-powered forecasting engine. Today he owns 41 VW Polos, not for driving, just to park them in formation as a message. Greed isn't strategy. If you believe in long-term thinking and aquatic returns, go to childrenofkhan.com.
Aquatic returns is crazy. Okay. Got some nice peepee grabs. Let me just scroll through chat, make sure I didn't miss any good gems, little gems from y'all. Okay. All right. So, for anybody who has seen our large artwork streams, because we're working on this large piece of artwork, a 2-foot by 3-foot composition, portrait orientation. Portrait orientation? Portrait orientation? Zoomy! Welcome in. We're working on something of a similar style. So far, we've only been concept work on that large artwork. So we've been in Illustrator, kind of laying out the canvas, and in Photoshop, kind of sketching in some rough lines, figuring out kind of how the whole thing will lay out. But this will be the kind of like style that it's in. So this project, my uncle hired me to make. He was very insistent about it not being a map, but it was a map. It was a map with other drawings around it, but we referred to it as a spatial representation of the land. We do be farting. We do be big farting. Uh-oh. We just went through all of them. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, excuse me. I'm not great at looking at art streams yet. So here is one of them. So there's like, just to describe this piece of art, this one was landscape. And there was like a big old map in the middle, or spatial representation of the land. And then there was like 3 white space things like open around the corners. And so then we put a like landscape rendering in each of those corners. So this was the upper right corner. This is probably like a 10 by 10 inch piece of artwork. And it's the cabin that he has put on this piece of the land. So part of this project too was he's taking farmland. So it's a part of the original plot from the family plot, and converting it from being an active farming field into being a pollinator prairie. And then a bigger piece of the land, so kind of the forested and laked areas that are around that kind of farmland that's being converted, are all being kind of like organized into this sort of like sanctuary is the idea, where it's really about more like nature preservation kind of stuff. He's not like a trained nature preserver, right? So it's just sort of like, to be honest, it's like farmers, I think they get like such an intense work ethic throughout their life that when they try to retire, they just can't. It's like impossible. There's no framework for life outside of like, go do this stuff. So this is like, now that he has retired and handed all the businesses off to my cousins, this is his project. He likes to sort of like, you know, make paths, clean up branches that have fallen. He's built this little like sculpture garden in here. So it's like a very neat kind of project. But also not a map, yes. So this is looking across one of the lakes. Here you can see sort of like a little bit bigger of the thing, and nothing here I think will be doxing. Good God, I hope not. And you can see a little bit more how the renderings relate to the spatial representation, the map. 22-foot lake, this is not a real name. This is a colloquial name. Thank you for the deep fried bacon guide. These are like paths, these dashed lines. And so all around these will grow up kind of like 3-4 foot grasses. And they have to go in and kind of like mow those out. So it's really cool when you're on like a 4-wheeler or an ATV going through these. You have like the little path that you're on, and then you've got grass coming up to maybe like here, and then you're like peeking out over the grass looking at all the trees and stuff that pop up out of that landscape. This is like a big hill up here too, so you kind of like come through this entrance, and then as you get out of this little like bunch of trees here, you kind of like see this like big hill open up. It's, I think, 36 feet tall, like 36 feet over this lower area. So it's like, it's a pretty sizable hill there. This is a view of Twin Oak Park down here. I was particularly proud of my tree. I really liked how these turned out. I think one of the things I realized, like I like trees and I look at trees a lot, but I'd never really like tried to break down how do you really like represent trees overlapping each other. Because there's this kind of odd thing that happens where you'll stand and somehow your eye can like see the outline of the tree, but also like you're seeing through it. And like there's times where you're not sure, are you seeing the tree or the other tree behind it? So there was some of that kind of like ambiguity that I was trying to generate with this, where like from afar, your eye can actually like read the outline of the tree better than when you get close. So like the pointillism of the whole thing ends up making it that when you end up like sticking your face right up next to the glass, it's almost like the tree sort of like dissolves, the way that if you stand in like a forest and you look at a tree, you're suddenly realizing that like what your eye was detecting as one tree is actually like this shmish-smash of all these other things. So there's that one. He has this little wood swing. It's called the sideways swing, because for whatever reason, the way that it's hung, you can really only ride it side to side. You can't really in and out it very much. This little stump right here was when this whole kind of like park area, so he calls this the Twin Oak because it has two things, and that's kind of like the anchor piece for this park. So back before he had even cleared it out, I think this was like maybe before he was fully retired. It's interesting in family businesses, right? Because you can like start to retire but not really be retired for like 5 or 10 years as you're sort of like transitioning it out. So I think during that time he would come down here and he would sit on this stump, and he would like, he had his little walking stick, and he would just sort of like look out here. And he described this as like his therapy, was sitting on this log and looking out at this slough. So it's like a shallow lake. A slough is like a shallow lake that's not dependably full, or like a shallow pond, where then you also get like kind of like pads of like mud and dirt that other things grow out of. So this whole thing right here, like this is open water. And then where these little trees are, this is all still on the water. So they're just like these trees that are kind of growing out of this like shmoosh that's floating over it. These are some other swings he hung up. He actually hung these up while I was there in 2023, so that felt cute. And then this is a cairn, which we see over here again, which is the, I think, Scandinavian term for stacked rocks is a cairn. There's lots of stacked rock kind of practices throughout the world, though, so I'm sure that concept has many names. These are some photos I took of it just kind of like at an angle, because some of these things I drew with kind of the idea that you'd be, you know, kind of like moving your head around and looking at them. So anyways, that's the cairn. We got the cabin. We got the sculpture garden over here. This is the slough, that point that I was pointing out to you. That's the little log. Here's the little swing. There's our little twin oak tree. Next, close up of the twin oak in its park. This was my uncle's very first corral. So when he first sort of like stepped out from under his dad, my grandpa, he put, and it's very ramshackle. I think it's from the 70s and it looks every bit its age. So we tried to represent that a little bit. It's this kind of like patchwork sort of thing. So I think he had, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20 cows, something like that. This is a fence that he put in about where the property line is. And there's areas where this fence kind of go into marsh, essentially. And so I guess there was one summer where the water was pretty low and he was just like, this is the year, we gotta do it. And so all summer he was out there laying down this fence over, I think it's like 1,800 feet or something like that. So what is that? Like a third of a mile? It's a fence that's like a third of a mile long. So slamming in these like big 4x4 posts every 100 feet. And then a bunch of other little posts along the way. And there's two big marshes and then the lake on one side that he had to put them in. I think the cows were allowed to free roam this area before. So this was like the cow fence. The corral, I think, is where they'd go at night, and then during the day they could be all out and about. And then on the other side of this, there's like a nature preserve. I think it's technically a waterfowl area. How large is this piece? It's 2 feet by 3 feet. So yeah, 24 inches by 36 inches. Just another view of the kind of cabin-y area. We can see some of the other stuff. He has a garden patch up there. This is like, it's like 30 by 50 feet or something like that. It's absolutely massive. And this is what I mean by like farmers, I don't know, their brains are just broken. He's like, I'm gonna retire from tending the land so that I can give myself a gigantic chore. So they also have a vegetable garden up by their house, probably about this same size. So this is just like his secondary. This is his secondary garden. And actually, let's see, all of these pumpkins. Can we, oh, they're there. They're there. All of these pumpkins. They actually don't come from there, but he did grow. He grew many of the pumpkins for the wedding in this little patch. Those other ones actually come from one of my cousins, who's also a farmer. He also got in on the pumpkin growing action. All right, so there you go. I think that's all the pictures I have for you guys. I feel like there's one missing. I thought there was like a good overview shot of that field, but I think not. I think I forgot to bring it over because this is all of them. But anyways, that's my art. This was my sort of like on and off project for 2 years. It was such a daunting project, to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm not gonna say I did a bad job choosing mediums because I think it really works at the end of the day. But I chose a very difficult. So it's watercolor canvas and then all the points. But it's just it was such a hard. It was so hard to keep clean. It was the big thing. Okay, so here's what makes it complex is you can't have any pencil marks down when you go to watercolor because the watercolor will actually seal your graphite in. So that presents some questions. And then you also can't erase. You have to be incredibly careful when you erase. You need a gum eraser to erase pencil marks, and if you do it too hard, it will lift the color out of the watercolor. And then you can't go back and touch that up because it just won't be the same, right? So there was always this sense of needing to be like incredibly careful around this thing, particularly like the lakes and areas that I knew were gonna be open. There was just like this sort of paranoia about it. You know, this is my OCD expressing too, so that's, if this doesn't sound extreme to you, you don't have OCD. But here you can actually see some of like the areas where the pencil lines, I couldn't get rid of them. Yeah, but honestly, the landscape drawings were some of the most complex things I've ever worked on, and it was like really hard to keep it all in my head. And then there would be all these like things where I'd step away, and so anyways, I'm very happy to have gotten rid of this thing. It's been like so loaded on my head for so long. And I think it's like just sort of like right now, not like this moment, but maybe like today, where it was like, it feels like the pressure finally came off and like my brain has more space to it. So anyways, there we go. I'll probably dump some of these in the Discord. Maybe all of them. I don't know. I'll have a think about it. Let's look at the art for the art that's in the Discord. And then that will be the end of our art section for the day once we do that. Unless anybody wants to drop links. If you have any links that you want to look at, I'm totally there for it. F, nope, never mind. Yay, I'm glad it's a never mind. Thanks for looking at those with me, you guys. Two-Bit says, I shared some of my fart. Not nearly as cool as this. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you both for sharing, and thank you for the compliments. I'm sure it's good. I shared farts in general. Me too. Okay, let's look at art. I don't think we'll watch this whole thing right now. Maybe we should watch some of it. This is some unhinged stuff right here. Does that work? It's gonna be cropped crazy, isn't it?
You're walking in the woods. There's no one around and your phone is dead. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot him.
Shia LaBeouf.
He's following you. about 30 feet back. He gets down on all fours and breaks into a sprint. He's gaining on you.
Shia LaBeouf.
You're looking for your car, but you're all turned around. He's almost upon you now, and you can see there's blood on his face. My God, there's blood everywhere!
Running for your life from Shia LaBeouf. He's brandishing a knife. It's Shia LaBeouf. Lurking in the shadows. Hollywood superstar Shia LaBeouf.
There we go. That's as much as we'll do of that for right now, just to keep ourselves moving along. I think in November, December, when we take a look at Discord some more, we might break out some art channels based on like medium. Maybe just very broadly like video, music, statics or something like that. Because I do like us sharing these kind of things. Jack has put a bunch of their music in here as well. They are a rapper. Is it appropriate to call you a rapper, Jack? I think of you as a rapper. Okay, and then we got some art here.
Sorry.
I don't know if I can do a strawberry diaper cat right now. I don't know what this says down at the bottom. I also don't know if this is found art or done art. But I think this is Jack's art. I like really like the I don't know, the thick line weight vibe. It's like it almost gives me the vibes of like one of those things where you can't like pick your pen up. You know what I mean? I like how I think we're like axonometrically looking like bird's eye view, looking at a shop. That's what I think I'm seeing. And I really like the way that pattern is being used to like break up space. I like it. What else we got here? Frap good, frap bad. It looks like we got some coffee. This is coffee shop. Americano, PSL. Cafe Cattle Mocha. We got the little COVID mask, I think. Either that or this is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I kind of like the idea of it being a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Sleep Daughter shared a song. Very nice. A butter croissant. Okay, I get this now. Like frap, like frappuccino. Frap good. Pumpkin spice, I think. Frap bad. Spinach feta wrap. I don't know if we're supposed to assume this is a spinach feta wrap frappuccino. Or if these are two columns on the menu. So you can have the good frappuccino and the bad frappuccino, or you can have the pumpkin spice frappuccino or the spinach feta frappuccino. I kind of like the idea of somebody making a spinach feta. I like this, Jack. Thank you for sharing. We got 2 bits, some spooky I cooked up. This is super fun, actually. We got the 2 bits coming for the 2 bits. And I don't know if this 2 bits knows. I don't know if front 2 bits knows she about to get stabbed. Cause her look of shock could be that she heard the door open and she knows. she knows she's in trouble already. Or this could be her shocked reacting to the hot goss, right? She's clearly yapping with the homies. She about to get wrecked, I think. Sardines shirt, love it. We got a little sheer action, which is very nice. Sardines are very strategically covering. Ooh, and then let's look at this picture from 2 Bits. Ooh, this has aura. Huge aura, right? This looks like it must have been a factory, right? Or warehouse, factory or warehouse of some sort. Everyone was doing the AI ghost face seen on social media. That was her retard. Wait, what's AI ghost face? Getting abandoned buildings from that? Yeah. I wonder why this says save. That's interesting. I kind of wonder if it's like just graffiti, like somebody, but that's like compared to the graffiti that's around, that doesn't seem like very strong graffiti. Or if it was like there was plans to like do partial demo in here. This rib, you gotta find that rib. This is very cool. I do wonder what this building was used for. 2 Bits, are you just going around random places? Are you one of those urban, not urban foragers, urban explorers? I feel like that's not it either. There's a term for this. People who like break into abandoned buildings and stuff. Okay, you're not. You just had a moment where you were like, I need to get in there. It was a factory that manufactured, oh, paper and roofing materials, okay. Those feel disconnected. Paper and roofing materials. Based on the building structure, wouldn't be surprised to hear factory, yep. Oh, okay, thrift store, and then this was just like hanging around. Let's see. I'm gonna like quickly try to scan through Jack's poem here and see if it's something we can read. Okay, this is a poem. This is a poem from Jack. I think this is maybe some good insight into Jack's brain and what the aliens are doing in there. This is called A Reflection in Time. Let's pull our music down a little bit. A Reflection in Time by Jack. As I bit into the crispy chicken tender covered in ranch dressing, I was home. Not like when I was with my family in the house we lived in. No, this was a different sort of home. It was a legend based on a myth, perpetuated by a lie based on exaggeration. And it tasted like heaven. The tall glasses bearing milkshakes, whipped cream, and the cherry on top. All the high points of vintage American life with none of those pesky details. Not a single moral withholding in sight. As Lady Liberty cradled me with fresh-made fries and piping hot breaded chicken with a side of sugar syrup soda water, I felt more at home in her arms in the industrious bustle of this restaurant than I ever had in the disastrous and chaotic house which I shared with my 2 birthing entities and the 2 previously birthed from them. We got along fine most days, ate well enough, had a soda every now and again, and the ice in the refrigerator always stayed solid. We did not grow up wanting for any of the basic necessities of living, nor the first levels of modern luxury. What was it then that gave us such malaise, that undercut our spirits and bore a hole through us at such young age? I feel like I'm unintentionally kind of slipping into Matthew McConaughey. No battle plagued our parents, nor our nephews or aunts. No needle pestered any of us with its tantalizing offers of pleasure, pure and unadulterated. A curse, then. Some witch's incantation from long ago, the stars only just coming to bear sense of it. Perhaps. Perhaps. But we know this much for certain, that time does place its weary hand upon our shoulder and implores us to help. And he may feed us from his fantastic delicacies, but it is all in return for a price unfathomable. For the benefit of all, we feast from Chronos' cornucopia. We work and we write and we struggle and we fight, and then we are no more. We are bearers of immortal stardust, who bestow upon substance the knowledge of sin, then surrender it once more to the etheric pathways outside of life. I know this displeasure is not mine alone. Perhaps it is wrong that I find solace in this fact, that suffering is far more common than happiness. Yet, perhaps it is a deliberate deception by those bearing yokes that we should be happiest with our necks heavy, and our brows sweating, and our backs breaking over the weight of all this love. I think that's great. I think there's something, absolutely. Get the snaps out. And then we got the chicken tendies and the ranch. Jack, I have to ask, are these the chicken tenders that inspired this? I feel like I said this about something else recently, and it may also be something that Jack did, but something about the vibe of that is like it's very Edward Hopper. It's very like, very nice fart. There's like this, there's these descriptions that are so like, they're just, you can feel them, like that chicken tender, and you can feel the hominess of that chicken tender and everything it stands for. And then there's like this kind of, what do you call this? It's like, I don't know, where you're like almost like disconnected from the bigness of everything. Like you can observe it and you can observe your place in it, but it's like, it's too bigness that there's like kind of an alienation from it. I don't know why she decided to go to sleep right there. I think that's a pretty cool poem. That's pretty cool. That's some pretty cool shit. Late night vibes. Some palm trees. We're gonna get hit by whoever's coming down this alleyway, that's for sure. Let me catch up with chat, and then we'll finish up with the art that's in here. All right. Epic Jack says, it's like my La Recherche de Temps Perdu. I'm gonna look up what that is, actually, because I have no idea. Is that a thing I should know? Oh, Marcel Proust. A Search of Lost Time. Okay. I like that. I know nothing of Marcel Proust. That's what I love about memories. I get older, they stay the same age. Interesting. That's kind of cool. You did it justice with the reading. Thank you for giving my words of advice. Oh yeah, absolutely. Dissociation of some sort. I don't know if I read dissociation vibes in there as much as like to me alienation. I think that felt sort of like the right word, separate from, I think Jack had like malaise. Jack used the word malaise in there, and to me that kind of goes along with that sort of like the alienation of it, feeling like you're a part of it but not a part of it, feeling like your chunk contributes but like does it, and is there any control in it? I feel like the description of Edward Hopper paintings that I have in my head, should we bring up a thing real quick? Edward Hopper is like the lonely figures of like the industrial city. That's what I think of it as. Let's get a quick little look here. These are some Edward Hopper paintings. This is the one I always think of when I think Edward Hopper. Open image, new tab. Right, it's this kind of diner. The streets are just empty. What is Cam doing? Sister girl, are you kidding me? She's trying to get cleavage. That's what's happening. Who asked you to do this? Why are you doing all of that? Well, that was fun. I can't believe I've been streaming for like 3 months and I still refuse to figure out this camera. I'm like, nah, I have the basics. I can survive. Yeah, that's the one I think of. This is another one I think of with Hopper. Right, we got a figure who's kind of alone in the endless expanse of the city. One of the concept that I really like is this idea of like I don't know how to say this properly, but like with like big cities comes anonymity.
How the fuck does cyan get to be one of the 3 printer colors? Who had
I love
ever
this
heard
rant.
cyan before?
She'd be
Now
doing
it's
too
one
much,
of the 3
exactly.
printer- That's a pretty big get for the cyan PR people, you know? Cyan's agents must have called him like, "Are you sitting down, Cyan?
Are you sitting down,
We
Cyan?
have amazing news. You're going to be one of the 3 printer colors."
But yeah, like anonymity in a city, right? If you're in a city of like 5 million people.
Yellow's been around forever. Yellow's a fucking legend. I loved Yellow's work on bananas and egg yolks and cowardice.
So I don't know, there's a little bit of that feels like kind of like related, right? This like feeling of like getting sort of like lost in a crowd, and it has its own kind of vibe. The author writes their perspective on tasting a Madeleine cookie with tea, and they recall their childhood mother. Okay, that's the Proust thing, Ratatouille moment. To me, it's like Jack. It's not just the sparsely pot. It's sort of like this. You know, like I don't know. There's an element of like hominess that I can feel in her. You know, she's just sort of like casually sipping her tea. She doesn't necessarily like feel happy, but she also doesn't look like she's like putting anything on. You know, she's just sort of like, yeah, this is my living room. I feel like this is said about New York and Paris. I've heard it about those two cities, where it's like the city is your living room kind of vibe. And that idea of like feeling more at home in a restaurant than like amongst that bustle than actually like amongst the family unit. Anyways, here we go. Let's press on. We got some more food pics from Jack. Yum yum yum. Look at those onions. Beautifully caramelized and some char. I like some char. Yeah, cast irons is nice. Meat sploot from Almond Milk Missile. He was 2 pumpkins, but I stitched him together as a real boy. I freaking love sploot. Absolutely in love. Okay, we got some music here. Ooh, this is actually created by Sleep Daughter. Y'all, lock in. We got some audio stylings from Sleep Daughter. It's Almost October, is what this one's called. I like this. SD, if you are around, what do you make music with? Oh wait, sorry, I think I had it crazy low, you guys. Let's start it over. I don't know if there's any way I can turn it higher for y'all. I'll be quiet. I'll just be quiet. Yo, Noger! Dude. That fucking slapped. That fucking slapped. SD, if you're still around, fucking GG's. That's such a vibe. Jack said it's giving opening montage of scrapbooks. I was like, my brain's, I think, in approximately the same spot with that, where it's like, it felt like soundtrack in like an indie film with like young romance. It has some of that, like that kind of like energy to it, like a little bit of like longing, a little bit of nostalgia, but not like long ago nostalgia. Very lovely. I love how kind of like sparse you let it be as well. Like, I think there can often be an impulse with music to just sort of like overload the space. I'm a huge overloader of audio space. But I love it. Such a coherent vibe. Was it piano, bass, and then it almost sounded like sort of like xylophone-y at the end. Sleep Daughter says, I'm doing a little album. This is going to be just our little recurring bit whenever we're talking to SD. Doing a little album, have 4 songs or so down now. GG's. Are all of them on MIDI Cancer? Your MIDI Cancer SoundCloud? Really appreciate that. Writing it as a sound. Oh, cool. Yeah. It fits. Don't forget us when you get famous. Exactly, SD. Drag us along with you. There are so many talented musicians in this community. It's crazy. Time Woes, 2Bits, SD. Who else? Who else is musicians in here? Noger, if you're still around, good to see you, first of all. Hello, hello. But the question of the day, what is your favorite pumpkin that you've ever carved? And like, what's the circumstances? Were you with family? Were you with friends? Where did the idea come from? We need the deets. Also, anybody else who hasn't answered the pumpkin question. Piano, bass, with synth bass layers, and a few little synths on top, like the xylophone. Okay. Loved it. Only that one, and that is actually a private link. Okay. When it's up, I'll definitely post the link. Cool. I like this term from Jack, forlorn romantic. Two-Bit says, I would say I'm an entertainer that... Very good point. I love music. As a person who is dance feels like my primordial core. That's probably the best way to put it. So music feels like dancing, but without the body. To us. But it's funny coming from music from outside because I have no training in it at all. I feel like sometimes I don't have like all of the like terminology in my head. So this is an interesting distinction for me. An entertainer that does music and not necessarily a real musician. Because I could see people also like somebody who like composes stuff, maybe they wouldn't think of themselves as like a musician if they're, you know, if they're mostly just using not like the classical instruments, I guess, you know, but using computer to make. Ooh, hard question. I'm actually from the area of the world of the Headless Horseman. Ooh. Like you can walk to the author's house? I feel like if you lived within the Headless Horseman author's house range, I feel like you'd be obligated to drop off pumpkins. I'm working on my sophomore solo album, but just letting it cook. That's good. I feel like art is best when it cooks, when it percolates. Kind of like expanding at the moment, and then collapse it, oh, okay, into song and all. Well, that's kind of cool. So you're like working with ideas, and then you'll like structure it back down into a song. Okay. We got a little bit more art. I think just one more. 2Bits put in some art. 2Bits says, I do / have done lots of different kinds of visual mediums. Paint, pencil, tattoo, pastels. Oh, I always forget that 2Bits was a tattoo artist at one point. Pastels, self-portrait, photography, Gaussian. I just had to look at my keyboard. And set styling. Ooh, set styling. 2Bits, what did you do set styling for? I should get back into that. Yeah. Yeah. This is sick. Is this one of those pours? Is this done with like where you pour? Or was this like a actually thought of design that was then put down? Either way, very cool effect. Pour over cigar box. Okay, cool. You did a lot of art modeling. Oh, look at this friggin' cutie. Ooh, this is a 2Bits tattoo. I forgot this guy's name, y'all. Simpsons fans, don't cancel me. He's always trying to kill Bart, right? He looks so smug. Sideshow Bob, thank you. Thank you. Sean says, agree on it cooking. I have a bunch of poems that are all going at once. They're worked on at different emotional ranges. And when I'm in the mood, I don't like forcing it. Yeah, I think that's really critical with art, right? Particularly if with your art you're going to very emotional spaces. I think that's one of those things. And I think poetry, I feel like poetry, just because of how much it's just like about language and how much like humans are language creatures fundamentally. I think that's my opinion. Humans are language creatures. And yeah, so with like poetry, I feel like it's like, oh, it's like getting inside of language. Which also makes like, I feel like the emotional qualities of it particularly intense. So I feel like that's one of those things where you can't really force a specific something there. Contemplation and patience to get something. Yeah. That's sort of something I've been noticing with, how to put this? I don't know, it's like throughout school and throughout work, because it was architecture, it wasn't like art, right? So it's like a discipline related to art for sure. But it's like things always had to be forced. It was just like, you gotta shit it out. There's not much time. But I feel like I feel like I'm now starting to gel more into that flow of like, just get a lot of little things going and then your brain kind of like does stuff to it when you're away. And then if you let yourself, you can like get back into it and sort of approach it from a different point of view that has like a, I don't know, like more of a framework around it. I don't know that those words made a lot of sense, but it's the best I can do to give form to that. Jack says, I am being alive, and then I will write about it. Hell yeah. Noger says, yep, Sleepy Hollow is the actual town. Isn't far from me. Interesting, it actually is Sleepy Hollow. I thought Sleepy Hollow was made up. Love the cemetery there, it's huge. For some reason that feels like it fits very well. The Sleepy Hollow, where everyone's dead. This tattoo is from like 17 years ago. Wow. Okay, let's see this last one. Ooh, a little still life. We got some donuts, baby. I think this is coffee mug back here. But it could also just be a ceramic mug that has a glaze. Ceramic mug with glaze. And then we've got, I want to call these sunflowers, but I don't think they're sunflowers. I mean, they don't look like sunflowers because they don't have the big black thing in the middle, but my brain can't put another flower name on it. Very nice. And this was pastels, I think, 2-Bit said. Only recently started painting and drawing again? Oh, good. Yeah, 2-Bits has MS. Which, for anybody not familiar, and I might have this wrong, but I'm gonna take a stab at it. It's all of our neurons that make our body move. They have these things called myelin sheaths that help the juices that make neurons do neurons. It helps contain it so that it can fire better. And with MS, those start to degrade, which means that you, over time, lose more and more like ability to send and receive signals properly. So I'm glad for you, 2-Bits, that you're getting back into these things. I feel like I missed a ton of chat somewhere on the way here. This is it. Aw, Fwizzle says, love, love, love the tattoo. What can't you do? Sean says, some things will flow naturally if I get a few lines in my head. Sometimes it won't. Both are acceptable things. I sometimes refer to it as word crafting. I like that. Let the subconscious sizzle up, baby. Sometimes things just bubble all up and come together. Looks like stepping back, more like stepping in, says Jack.
If you choose to become inactive or to leave the restored Church of Jesus Christ.
Noger says, it kind of is. It used to be North Tarrytown. Oh, but they changed it to Sleepy Hollow to get tourism. Okay. But it is the area that was described in the story. That's interesting. Y'all, I love instances like this where art ends up like shaping reality into a representation of the art. There is that phrase, right? Like art imitates life, life imitates art. But I feel like this is a very specific instance, right? Like somebody saw this area, created an artistic representation of it, and then that town was like, wait, let's be more of that. Let's just be exactly that. Speaking of which, I think my favorite example of this is, do y'all know the Bond movie Spectre? There is, in the opening scene of it. Now this movie gets a lot of flack. I personally love it. I think it is a great and complex story that's actually like very integral to finally pushing Bond's character into some character growth after 55 years. Anyway, it opens with like this crazy scene that it's structured to look like a one-shot, right? Where, as in, the camera never cuts. There are spots, obviously, right? It's a false one of these things. But like the first 7 minutes of the movie are all filmed. I believe it's in Mexico City, or that's what they're representing. And I think it's the Day of the Dead parade. And so it's like filmed around that, and it's like him and beautiful lady walking into a hotel. They go up an elevator, they go to their room. The lady starts like undressing, right? So you think you're getting into that like piece of it. And then the camera pulls around and Bond like switched outfits and is now just walking out the window. And then the camera follows him out the window. He walks across these like buildings or whatever. And then you sort of get inserted into the action. Anyways, as I've read on it, I could have this wrong. There wasn't actually a Day of the Dead parade there, but because so many people were coming after seeing this movie, coming for the parade, they were like, I guess we'll throw a parade if you want a parade. But like they didn't do that before. That's what I read. I could have this wrong. Nobody come at me, or do come at me. Correct me if I'm wrong. I like to be corrected. But yeah, those moments where life very deliberately, almost like seeds the role. It's like, art, no, you're more real. I'm gonna copy you. Few hours out at NYC. Y'all, I need to focus. I need to get us back on track. I've gotten so used to the like long wandering stream that is just Mario that I've like forgotten all the pacing of these streams. So this was the end of our art section, I think. Let's see if there's anything else. That's it. Let's catch up with chat and then we'll go over into movement. It's probably gonna be a short movement section. And really, it's about me. Sorry. I'm gonna be doing my evening hip rehab exercises. They are all good for everyone to do together, though. So we are gonna treat it as community workout. And then on Wednesday, we'll sort of return. So this is like, it's very leg day, so we can sort of look at this as just leg day. But I'm letting y'all in on the secret. That is it's my hip rehab. Okay, let's get Discord gone. Goodbye. Thank you all. Thank you all for putting your art into sharing it. Sharing art can be very, very vulnerable because we are sharing like expressions of that stuff, the inside stuff, our heart and our emotions. So I really do appreciate y'all feeling that y'all feel safe enough to share it. That means a lot to me. that y'all feel comfortable doing that, so thank you. That's it. Let's go. Let's go, y'all. Wrong one. There we go. I'll catch up with chat from here, I think. Let's do that. Bacon Guy, sorry I farted your absurd away. That specific video just gets very involved. Noger says, oh dude, that area gets spooky as fuck with fog every so often. Oh my god, I can't even imagine. Tubit says, thank you for letting me share. I'd really like to do more. I hope you share. I hope you share as you do more, Tubits. Jack says, I'm about to cook, so I'm not super articulate at the moment. Sorry for real. No worries, no worries, no worries. Absolutely, Sleep Daughter. Thank you for sharing the song. Honestly, I will be listening to it later. I definitely will be listening to it later. Baked says, let's make my hips snap, crackle, and pop. Yes!